Hey guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. Oh my gosh, already. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show. We give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is Jon Campea.
Well, greetings and the most heartfelt of salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you from right here at the Collider Video Studios here in Burbank, California, and we are so glad you decided to make us part of your day, Ashley.
Also here is Jon Schnepp.
Hope you went through all those notes really with a fine-tooth comb and found every single word that you should be saying.
Also here is Jeremy Jahns.
The vibes in the air. People are fucking with people. You see Kristian shit-eating grin over there.
Exactly.
It's good. I don't want to overhype it, but it's like it's at least madness offset. So I hope it translates on camera.
Also here, troublemaker Kristian Harloff.
I did nothing.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's get started.
With Wonder Woman playing in theaters now and breaking box office records, talk has already turned to the inevitable sequel. Speaking with Entertainment Weekly, director Patty Jenkins revealed that she already has an idea of where to send Diana Prince next and wants to send her to America, saying it's time for Diana and right for her character. However, Jenkins didn't reveal the time period in which the movie will be set. When asked by Uproxx if the film would be set in contemporary times or somewhere within 100 years, such as the 1940s, Jenkins said she's planning on something more interesting. Jon, do you think Jenkins will set a Wonder Woman sequel in the past again, or do you think she will set it in modern times?
I think one of the best, most brilliant things they did with Wonder Woman, the original film that is in theaters now, was setting it in the past. That way they could do it without any baggage, without any needing to have connective tissue with the outside. They don't have to worry about why doesn't Superman fly. Like they let it be by putting it in the 40s or by putting it in the past. They had it in such a way that the Wonder Woman movie could actually be, a Wonder Woman movie. Be a movie about Wonder Woman and focus on Wonder Woman. That was probably the smartest thing they did, aside from hiring Patty Jenkins, which was a stroke of genius. But I think now that has played out. I'm now interested in seeing a modern battle. I want to see her now in contemporary time. Like I dig Highlander, but I don't want Wonder Woman to be Highlander, where now we're going to tell a story in like the 1970s. Now we're going to tell a story about when she saved Alf. Now we're going to tell a story about, I'm not looking for that in Wonder Woman. I would like them to bring it up. Now, if they've got, like if Patty Jenkins comes up with a kick-ass idea for, I don't know, Wonder Woman helps the X-Men stop the Cuban Missile Crisis. I don't know. If she comes up with a brilliant idea to set Wonder Woman another period of time, go with the best idea, absolutely. All other things being equal, though, I would like to see them bring it back into modern day, get it synced up now. You did your past thing, now get it synced up with the rest of the DCEU, and let's move forward. But I don't know, Kristian, you hear about this, what do you think?
Well, the first thing I got to give props, and they wrote an article about this on Collider.com. Brent Strickland and Matt Jennison wrote this script, Wonder Woman. They said it in the past. It was when Joss Whedon had a modern day time. It was with Joel Silver, and they were the guys that had the vision to do this thing a long time in the past, and they're finally doing it. I couldn't agree with you more that it's the same thing that worked, the reason why the first Captain America worked. But just like Captain America, they moved him forward in Winter Soldier and put him in modern day times because of where we are in the Marvel universe. That's the story we needed to hear from him. And I think that should be the same thing for Wonder Woman. It's not that like a movie in the 70s couldn't work or 80s if it kind of relates into the DCEU. But one of the most important things right now, I said this I think last week, I think that Wonder Woman right now should be the one who's leading the DCEU. Any plans they had with Batman or Superman, they should kind of maneuver it a little bit, and she should be the lead all the way through. She should be similar to what happened with Captain America, where he's kind of like the centerpiece of the MCU. I think she should be, and I think that that's why they should take it into modern day times. Whether it's in America or Timbuktu, who cares? Like, it's just a matter of what they're going to do, how it's going to further the story. But exactly what you said, Patty Jenkins has an idea of the 70s. That's not just to put it in the 70s, which doesn't seem like she would do something like that just to do it. If it furthers the timeline, if it furthers what we're seeing in this new version of the DCEU, I'm all for it.
Jeremy.
Yeah, well, one of the other things, the good thing about putting her in the past is not only could she be Wonder Woman, and it could be a Wonder Woman movie, but it also put her in a world war, and she is a warrior, and that was very advantageous also. So, I mean, there's a lot of conflict that you could see throughout the century, throughout the decades leading up to this. I could see it being another decade, but I do think they're going to move her into modern time just because she has that picture. She gets, well, all right, never mind. So at the end of Wonder Woman, kind of, you just kind of get the feeling that it's like, all right, that was her story in the past. Now she's in Batman versus Superman. You know,
Right.
she's in this modern time. To put her like, oh, and these are the other adventures that happen there. I find it more interesting that she just kind of went away or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like no one knows what she's been doing. Maybe they'll fill that in. But there's a lot you can do bringing her to modern times. Like, is she going to do Justice League stuff? Is she going to do other war stuff? It's not exactly the most peaceful time we live in right now. Wonder Woman could be used somewhere in the world if she's setting up a home base in America. Interested to see what they do. But just like Captain America, how Tony Stark was kind of the leader, you know? And then it was like, oh, Captain America became a favorite. Maybe he's the leader. He should be the leader. But it was neat. It was a good thing that Captain America became one of the fan favorites, so he could actually fulfill his role as the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers. And I think Wonder Woman will do that. They were like, oh, we were going to have these other people be the leader. Not anymore. And we've seen it work before, so I think it's going to work now. They're going to bring her into modern times.
I think y'all are both crazy.
What?
A DCEU where Batman is not like the crown jewel, the centerpiece?
Right, I'm not talking about overall, but right now for what they have and the way that Wonder Woman is responding and how socially important right now in general what the character has done. You can make a DCEU where she is in the lead, not forever. They can do a shift later on once they just change it up a little bit. They don't necessarily have to lead with Batman and Superman right now. They don't have to do it, is what I'm saying. It's been done in the past, obviously. It's been the way that they've done it, but you can switch it.
Well, let's go into Justice League. I mean, basically, literally, it's Wonder Woman and Batman. I mean, they're going to be, and Batman, Bruce Wayne is the guy who's got all the, he's, hey, why don't you come to my bat lair? And I've got all these computers. Wonder Woman has got like one computer that she's checking.
Right.
Like,
Pretty sure it's a
there's
Chromebook.
Yeah, it's a Chromebook. There's not a lot of stuff on it.
Mess with her notes.
You know how I feel about it? Like, look, you introduce Wonder Woman. She leaves Themyscira. She's in our world now. She's got her outfit now. I don't have no problems with them doing flashbacks. And, like, I think they're going to keep Wonder Woman in the present time, 2017, 2018, 2019, whatever you want to call our present time. And they'll use certain things like just like we flashed back and saw her as a kid in the film, we'll see flashbacks of certain key moments where there's no way she's not going to be involved in different wars and trying to be a peacekeeper, because that's her journey. That's what she's about. So that she joined up with Superman and Batman to fight Doomsday is because she had to. And it's one of those things where she said, left a few things I've tried to stay out of, whatever she was saying.
Well, yeah, because in BVS, she said a line something like that. I had pulled myself out of the world of men. Like I don't get involved in the world of men and stuff like that.
But
so
as far as
at what point did that happen?
Yeah, at what point did that happen? And the world of men as opposed to just the world. So I'm interested to see. Like, I'm sure that the character of Diana has done a ton of things from where we left off in Wonder Woman to the present day. I don't think they're going to cover that, like you were saying, like a Highlander type of a journey type thing. But I'd love to see flashbacks to show that she has been around this entire time and has been doing stuff. But I think as far as like leading the Justice League, I think she's just a natural leader. And it's like Batman is also a natural leader. So they're going to fit together pretty well.
You seem to have something else you wanted to say.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that crown jewels are given validation and validity from the people. You know what I mean? So if people love the Wonder Woman movie more than the other DC movies, she's now the crown jewel. Like it or not, that's kind of where it needs to go, in terms of the cinematic universe. So if they make her that's not to say there's going to be no Batman or no Superman. She'll be working with them, but to make her a centerpiece after her movie totally crushed in the box office and was very liked by critics and fans, that would be stupid to not do that. So I just feel like they should.
Well, I have a sneaky suspicion that the dude who has taken over Justice League, his name's Joss Whedon. He writes really good roles for women.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that they're beefing up those reshoots right now so that whatever that maybe wasn't in there is going to be in there now, and I'm okay with that.
Yes and no. What I will say is, for someone who read the Joss Whedon version, I didn't like his interpretation of Wonder Woman at all. So it actually makes me a little nervous. I hope that a lot of things have happened. We're talking 10 years ago. So from this version now, he's working off a version that's already been put on screens. But he does write women very well. I just didn't like his particular vision for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I'm a huge Joss Whedon fan, and I didn't like his take on Wonder Woman either.
Right, but I mean, now he's an adapter.
But he's clearly a Wonder Woman fan.
It's a different.
He's
It's totally
a
different
great
now.
writer.
Yes.
He can go with the flow. So,
All right, what's next?
Paul Feig's Ghostbusters remake was not a big hit at the U.S. box office or with fans of the series. Though it made a decent amount of money with $229 million worldwide, it was not enough to warrant a sequel. While it looked like the book was closed on on Feig's Ghostbusters original franchise, star Dan Akroyd has opened up some old wounds about the movie and its director, Feig. Speaking on Britain's Sunday Brunch via a report from EW, Akroyd said, "It made a lot of money around the world, but it just cost too much, making it economically not feasible to do another one. So that's too bad. The director, he spent too much money on it. He didn't shoot scenes we suggested to him, several scenes that were going to be needed, and he said, no, we don't need them. And then we tested the movie, and they needed them." And he had to go back, about 30 to 40 million in reshoots. So yeah, he will not be back on the Sony lot anytime soon. Kristian, thoughts on Akroyd's comments about director Paul Feig?
Dan Aykroyd is an absolute comedy legend and someone who came up, that I came up loving with him and Belushi. But to quote John Campea, shut up. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? This is like Paul Feig. So the movie didn't do well. I didn't like the movie. It didn't do well. So you don't throw, by the way, someone whose career is way more elevated than yours at the moment, not talking about body work, talking about right now. And first of all, you were the guy that was coming out saying, this is a good movie. I dig it. I love it. And now because it didn't do as well, now you're throwing this guy under the bus? What are you doing? It's like, again, I didn't like the movie. I actually liked it less than I think most people on this table. But this is not something you do to a guy who, A, gave you that stupid-ass cameo in the first place and let you do it. That your scene, Mr. Akroyd, was one of the worst scenes in the entire movie. So everything you did in that was horrendous. So would you go back? You shouldn't be allowed in the Sony lot for that scene alone. So leave Paul Feig alone because that's a really bad business. That is bad business to go after a director of his caliber, honestly, and of a comedy. They're not going to let Paul Feig back on the lot because he didn't listen. He had to do a couple of research. That's idiocy. And Dan Aykroyd has done stuff like this in the past. It's not 1978 anymore, Dan. Shush, so you can still get work.
Yeah. To quote John Campea, shut the fuck up, Dan Aykroyd. Like, I'm embarrassed that you have roots. You have Canadian roots. I'm embarrassed. Like, these are some of the most idiotic, stupid, self-centered things I could possibly hear. Who the fuck is going to want to work with you now, moving forward? Who would ever work with Dan Aykroyd moving forward now? Knowing that this piece of shit is going, like, if something goes wrong with the movie, he's going to grandstand and do it. And like Kristian pointed out, like, when this movie's coming out, like, oh, this is going to be great. This is awesome. This movie's wonderful, blah, 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 blah. And now, like, way post-mortem, throw comments like this out? It's some of those, you're in the business, man. Like, seriously, to repeat what I just said, what director is ever going to want to work with you ever again?
Slimer.
Like, Slimer. Well, I mean, apparently not really anybody wants to work with him now. But this is just like one of the stupidest things I have seen. Just shut up, go crawl into a hole for 10 years, and maybe hope that people forget that you opened your mouth and said this. This is just ridiculous. Anyway, Jeremy.
I feel bad for the fact that John Campea is coming to grips with the fact that even Canadians can be dicks.
Oh.
It's like, I'm sorry, man. Oh. It's real. It's everywhere. You know, why is it... Why was it even? I have to assume, is it, if I'm taking a leap, is Wonder Woman's success the reason he brought this up? Or like, because the story is, in my Wonder Woman spoiler video, I actually had a part where I had mentioned, I was like, okay, so that Ghostbusters movie, people said it failed because people don't like women in lead roles. Then Wonder Woman crushes, so apparently they do. You just need a good movie for it, you know? And then I took it out because I was like, it was months ago, there's no need to rehash it. Now Dan Aykroyd's brought it up, so now we have to talk about it. So I guess I just can't escape it. But emulating what you guys said, it's you can't grandstand and then when it fails, be like, I knew it all along. It's like those are characters in comedy. You know, those are comedic characters that you see in movies where who's the head elf in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Who he gave.
He wants to be a dentist.
Yeah, and then Well, the other one, the one who's like a dentist, and then in the end, he was like, I know he'd do it. I knew it all along. You know, it's like people who have such an opinion on something, and then they flip because of the situational circumstances. No conviction behind it, and now, directors are gonna look at that, and be like, oh, you mean you'll like it unless it doesn't do well, and then you're gonna throw us under the bus. So that's not a smart business move. Like you guys said, it's not the 70s anymore. Christmas with the Cranks happened.
Schnepp.
Well, here's a little warning. Crystal Skull vodka. It's big, looks like a big skull, and there's vodka in it. don't drink like 3 of them in a row and then do an interview, because you're going to say really, really embarrassing things that you'll regret for the rest of your life.
Was he hammered?
No, he had to be hammered. Is what I'm trying to imply. Is like, because come on, man, this is the kind of stuff somebody says who's like bitter with their own lives. They're irritated that their thing didn't go over well, so they're looking to point blame at all these different people. Paul Feig's already doing another project. Paul's got tons of projects lined up. I'm sure a lot of them are going to be great. I mean, not everybody hits 100. Look at your career, Dan Aykroyd. So it's like, I would be the last one to cast stones on somebody like this. Look, everyone did what they could and what they wanted to do. Everyone was like grandstand cheering on Ghostbusters. Was it a great movie? No. Was it fun? Yes, it had a lot of cool moments in it. Could they make a sequel for $10 million? Probably. Are they going to? No. Just deal with it. I mean, Akroyd, you're one of those guys I've read your comments for like 15, 20 years about Ghostbusters and like, no, we're going to have these multiple different dimensions. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You've had multiple cartoons. There's been tons of different exploitations of the Ghostbusters property. And now this one didn't hit it the way you wanted to, even though you were saying it's one of the greatest Ghostbusters sequels that you could have possibly imagined when it came out. Now you're hating on it. I don't know. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. It's just horrible.
Well, he was acting like a used car salesman is really what he was doing. Like you said, he's hawking out this material that he probably didn't believe in, right? So he throws that out there. But the other thing is that you're talking about as far as bitterness goes, when he was championing for Ghostbusters for so long.
Yes.
He was championing to get it back and, and help with Reitman to get for so long to make it in because,
he had his script.
Because his stake, well, just in general, he wanted Ghostbusters to come back into the public, to get franchise, to get that money back in his bank account. And because it was this hot button and people were talking about how it just was not working, or the defense, like Jeremy was talking before, how explosive the conversation was about this thing, and he blames Paul Feig. Now the one thing though, by the way, that he should have done, if even he wants to have these comments, and by the way, know the guy's name, the director. Well, the director, I can't be bothered with knowing his name. The director, I was in the Blues Brothers, and it's like, so like he needs to show some respect, or even change his comments a little bit, going, I maybe would have done this and that, and don't even mention Paul Feig at all.
What if what if it's an April Fool's? Like, what if it's a late April Fool's?
Right. He's
like,
so hammered he thought it was April Fool's.
Right, joking. Who knew?
Okay, so it's just brought to my attention that Dan Aykroyd has followed up his comments. This is on Deadline Hollywood.
I'm sorry.
So Akroyd is somewhat trying to soften what he said, which is a good thing to do. He wrote, if I'm reading the article right, and I haven't had a chance to go in depth in this article, so forgive me if I'm reading this out of sequential order, but he wrote, we just wish we had been more included as the originators. It cost everyone, as it's likely that Kristen, Leslie, Melissa, and Kate will never reprise their roles in Ghostbusters, which is sad, blah, blah, blah. So in one hand, it sounds like he's trying to say, look, I'm just saying this, but it also then sounds like the comment I'm reading now is basically saying you should have listened to me more.
Yes. Well, but that's how he's always been. He's had the Dan Aykroyd Ghostbusters universe, and people didn't want to make it. That's why Bill Murray kept shredding the scripts for 15 to 20 years. It was like they didn't want to make that version of it, so that's why they ultimately went with a different version. He had to just accept it, and now it's bitter pills time. So
I just love the fact that Dan Aykroyd apparently watches Movie Talk. He's like, shit, they're talking about me. What I meant to say was, what can I say? We're making a difference.
I just don't like seeing anybody, especially somebody as iconic and as legendary and as everything that Kristian pointed out about him, how important he has been to the world of comedy, sabotage themselves.
Right. That's
like
horrible.
This. All right, folks, we've moved on now to that part of the show known as buy or sell. Here's how this works, and we will get back to the mummy in a second. Here's how this works. In front of her, Ashley's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. Then those at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell. So, Ashley, what do we got?
We are going to buy or sell. Okay. Universal Pictures has released the first trailer for American Made, directed by Doug Liman. The movie stars Tom Cruise and is based on the true story of Barry Seal, a real-life American pilot and hustler who ran drugs in the 1980s for cocaine kingpin Pablo Escobar and was recruited by the CIA to run one of the biggest covert operations in history. The film opens on September 29th and also stars Domhnall Gleeson, Sarah Wright, and Jesse Plemons. Jeremy, buy or sell the first trailer for American Made?
The Mummy, American Made. This episode is on cruise control, I can tell you that. Saw the trailer, it was like, all right, oh my God, that trailer's awesome. I buy it for sure. It starts out I mean, in the world of coke running, he crashes his plane. He's covered in snow. Gives kids money. He's like, "You never saw me." It's like all this cocaine's like washing off of his head, and he just rides his bike off. It's fantastic, or he runs off. It was great. You look at it, you're like. All I know is between this and Blow, there was a lot of stuff that happened in the world of cocaine in America. And I mean, I loved Blow. I want to see more of that world. It kind of shows you more of like, all right, so here are some other hustler runners that Escobar hired to bring coke into America. Interesting stuff. Love the trailer. Tom Cruise was good in it. Buy it.
Yeah, this trailer, a huge buy for this trailer. This is great. I mean, I was interested in this movie because it read interest. Like when the first descriptions of what the project was coming out, I thought Tom Cruise was, I'm a big Tom Cruise fan, but I just thought that's an interesting choice for a role like this. Now that I've seen the trailer, 100% on board. This is a well-made trailer. It's funny. It gives you touches of the story. It gives you some feelings for what some of the big aha moments are going to be. I thought it was terrific. Huge buy for me.
It's a big buy for me because this shows why Tom Cruise today is still relevant, because he can, as big of a movie star as he is, he can go into roles like Tropic Thunder, like Mission Impossible, and then switch up and do something like this. So this is very much remind me of Blow when I saw this trailer, and it's a role that the second I saw it, and that scene you're talking about when he crashes and he gives the kids money, he runs away. I'm like, this is a role I want to see Tom Cruise do. I want to see that different layer of him because because besides just being an amazing movie star, he's a really good actor, and to be in a movie like this, and the fact that it comes out in like the September-October area, it's a perfect time for this movie to drop. We're not looking at $100 million for this movie. This is a movie that needs to be good and get word of mouth. Say, hey, did you guys check out this one? Because this is Cruise in a way we've never seen him before, or at least in a while. So I am excited about the possibility, so I'm buying this.
Schnepp.
Yeah, I'm buying it too. It had like flavors of like Blow, Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah,
it had a
definitely.
lot of that kind of fun filmmaking where it's somebody like basically breaking the law, toying with the law. I'm going to walk out of here in 5 minutes, and he does. It's that kind of stuff because you know that they're going to get their comeuppance, because that's just kind of how these stories usually go. Like Wolf of Wall Street, it's like watch the escalation go. The only thing that confused me in the trailer was like, who's that blonde girl who was playing Tom Cruise's daughter? Because it seemed like they had a weird kind of relationship, and I just like, it seems odd. But anyway, yeah, I can't wait to see this movie.
By the way, just one more quick follow-up note on the Dan Aykroyd story.
Is he still watching Movie Talk?
Still
Aykroyd,
tweeting out.
stop chugging that crystal vodka. It's dangerous.
Apparently, in Dan Aykroyd's original statement saying that Paul Feig cost him $30 to $40 million extra dollars in reshoots. Sony has now done that little nitpicky thing of fact-checking and countered that by saying actually our reshoots cost $3 or $4 million, not 30 or 40.
so
And
he
added a zero because he was so drunk. He's like,
Right.
why is he zero?
So Sony's in the conversation now.
Yeah, now
like,
Sony's
Sony
in the
is in
conversation.
the argument.
Akroyd, they're not going to let him on the lot. Sony tweets from Paul Feig's parking space on the lot.
I mean, all right, so that's like next level stuff. At first, it was just this guy trash talking. Maybe the studio wouldn't pay any mind. But if the studio is now like, actually, Mr. Aykroyd, then you know there's contention
Right.
there.
Not
It's a little
listening to
dirty.
me cost the company
Oh,
$8
man.
billion. Actually, it was lunch. Okay, what's next?
Sony Pictures has released 3 new TV spots for The Dark Tower, the highly anticipated adaptation of the beloved Stephen King book series. Directed by Nikolai Arcel, the film stars Idris Elba as the gunslinger, Roland Deschain and Matthew McConaughey as the Man in Black, two forces in opposition of one another as they both search for the legendary Dark Tower in Endworld. The film also stars Tom Taylor and Catherine Winnick and opens in theaters on August 4th. Schnepp, buy or sell the new TV spots for The Dark Tower?
I'm going to hesitantly buy them. I mean, it's because the actors are so great. I mean, this Dark Tower is really doing nothing for me. So I like the actors, so maybe screw it, I sell it.
Yeah, that was a quick turnaround.
That's classic where someone's like, you know, I'm making so many excuses. I guess
Yeah,
I'm
right.
actually not looking forward
Yeah,
to that.
I'm not.
Yeah, for sure. Good call.
What do you think, Jeremy?
I'm wishing. All right, so the first trailer I was actually pretty excited about because, you know, I like the actors, like you said. I think McConaughey's perfect to play Flag. Of the TV spots, the last one was my favorite because it concentrated on him. But the TV spots are everything you saw in the trailer already. It's no new
Just kinda
information.
recut.
Yeah, so in terms of these TV spots, I sell them because there's nothing new. Though it may show that they're like, I know, because we have secrets and we want to hold some stuff back. I hope. But for right now, selling the TV spots.
I'm buying the movie, but I'm selling the TV spots because
Yeah.
I feel like we've seen all these clips in the trailer. There's nothing new that I got, and I also think that they're kind of erratic for people who didn't see the trailer. It's like, what the hell is this? It's just Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. I like them, but what the hell is this? The trailer explained really what was going on. This was just, even when they throw in those, I'm stronger than most. It's like, okay, so he's supernatural. Is this a super? What the hell is it? I don't think it explained to audiences that didn't know what it was. So for the TV spots, selling it, but I am actually really looking forward to the movie.
Oh, I think the movie's going to be awesome. I cannot wait for this movie, but it ain't because of the trailers. The trailers have not done a great job of and I've been okay with the trailers of these TV spots. So like you said, Jeremy, they're just recut versions of what we already saw in the trailers. So I don't really see anything to get excited about here. So fully convinced the movie's going to be awesome. I cannot wait to watch it. But I'm going to sell these trailers because they ain't the reason why.
Let me add one thing. Like, imagine, just try watching those TV spots, like you at home on YouTube. Crank any one of your favorite, whether it's techno music, heavy metal, whatever, Lady Gaga. Just crank music and watch those trailers again, those TV spots. I guarantee you they'll be 100% better because the voiceover to me is what really bothered me. It was like, because it's so out of context. If you're like not watching the entire trailer that sets up, I'm from this other world, there's this kid who goes into this other universe, and there's this dark tower. Instead, it's just like, McConaughey's like, I'm gonna destroy the dark tower. And it's like, you're like, what is he talking about? It sounds like a bunch of babbling idiots. That's what, I mean, out of context, when I was watching it this morning, I was just like, Idris Elba just saying like a series of words.
Right.
And then the Dark Tower. I feel it's actually kind of confusing and like makes everything that the movie might be less so.
I'm just thinking of McConaughey like just random word. Lincoln Lawyer, Murph, space. It's like no context whatsoever. I like your hair and your coat. That's it.
Dark
Oscar.
Tower.
All right, folks. So it is Tuesday, so we like to spend a little bit of time talking about what is opening in theaters this week, and we've got a little Tom Cruise project. What's going on, Ashley?
It's The Mummy. When soldier of fortune, Nick Morton, and his partner come under attack in the Middle East, the ensuing battle accidentally unearths Aminat, a betrayed Egyptian princess who was entombed under the desert for thousands of years. With her powers constantly evolving, Morton must now stop the resurrected monster as she embarks on a furious rampage through the streets of London.
I can honestly say there's probably not a movie coming out this year that I've been more interested in. Like, not super psyched about it, but really interested in and curious. Because remember, and we've mentioned this before, but when they first announced the Universal Monster Universe, a lot of us were just, oh, this sounds desperate.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're grasping at straws. And then all of a sudden we started to see that they were really going all in on it by getting Russell Crowe, by getting Tom Cruise, by getting Javier Bardem, by getting Johnny Depp, by getting all these big, and bringing great filmmakers and great writers. Universal was really planting their flag. And so look, I don't know how this movie's going to be. I've really enjoyed the trailers. I think they've made this movie look pretty fascinating. I like this new world they're setting up with Prodigium?
Yeah, the Prodigium.
The Prodigium. This all looks kind of cool. S.H.I.E.L.D., whatever. So, look, I'm really interested. Now, as a little bit cool, information here. Yesterday they did the premiere, or today they're doing the premiere it was last night.
Yeah,
I'm
they
sorry.
screened it last night.
Last night they did the premiere of The Mummy in New York. Our own Denizen and a bunch of our crew are actually down there covering it. We're doing the Q&A with the cast, all that kind of stuff. You'll see all that stuff a little bit later, so keep your eyes open in the coming days. But we're going to go see it tonight.
Yeah.
We're going to go see The Mummy tonight, and I'm actually really fascinated to see it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I am looking forward to it. I think that the key word that you said is curious, because and we've been talking about this a lot, where the studios have been kind of jumping the gun and going, well, after this movie, then this movie comes out, and then we have this, and then for the next 20 years, you're going to have this. If this movie isn't really good, if it's just subpar, it's going to be difficult to really get people behind this thing. So I'm hoping it to be really good. And I want Tom Cruise, what we were just saying about him before, I'd like to see him have another franchise, one that in this universe, because there could be some cool stuff going on. So I am very curious to see it. I'm looking forward to it in the way that I look forward to Tom Cruise movies, to see what's he going to do next. How is he going to change up? How's it going to be different from the other franchises he's been on? And how are they going to incorporate this new universe? And I'm also nervous about CGI in any of these new movies when they come out. Like, not that the fact that they're using them, because every movie uses CGI. It's the fact, is it going to be noticeable? Are they going to rely on it when they could have used makeup at a certain point? So, curious.
What do you think, Jeremy?
Curious, interested. You guys took the keyword, so I'm just going to emulate it. Curiosity is the phrase, and it kind of bummed me out, but curious is the word that I can use. When yesterday I came in, saw the Mummy poster up there, I'm like, oh yeah, that's this week. Like, they just kind of, it snuck up on me, and it wasn't something I wasn't counting down the days and the weeks. Like, all right, 2 more weeks, all right, 8 more days, 7, 6, 5. It's coming out in like 3 days now, and it just kind of hit me where I'm like, oh, that hasn't been on the forefront of my mind. I don't know if it's lack of marketing, but Tom Cruise still has it. We all know he does. Interested in a cinematic universe, and like anytime it's the first one, like this is going to launch something bigger. That is an interesting time. Super fascinated with it. Goes so far as to say I'm looking forward to it. But if there's anyone who can do it, Tom Cruise can.
Schnepp.
Yeah, I'm interested, fascinated, and curious.
Nice. All the keywords.
Oh, hey. I am actually looking forward to it. I've been guessing what is Tom Cruise going to be revealed to be at the end. At first we were like, he's the Mummy. Then he's gonna be the new Van Helsing. And then this week I was like, he's gonna be Dracula. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking now. So we'll all find out. You guys, I don't know if I can make a screening, but I'm gonna probably see it Thursday with the rest of the normal humans. I'm really looking forward to it. I wanted to launch the Universal monster movies because I want to see Bride of Frankenstein with Javier Bardem as Frankenstein's monster and Angelina Jolie and Bill Condon directing it. I want to see all these movies. I want to see Creature of the Black Lagoon. I want to see a new Wolfman. I want to see them tie it all together and have some kind of like crazy like monster freak out. Not even Monster Squad, upping it to like an R-rated freak out. Who knows what it's going to be, but I want to see all that stuff, and it's all hedging its bets on this Mummy thing. So I hope it's good.
And then they all team together in 4 years to fight what all team-up movies do, an alien invasion. They did Avengers, they're doing Justice League,
with
they'll
a
do
beam of
Monsters
light
Universe.
that goes up to the sky, and they have to stop it.
As it stopped in Akroyd.
All right, folks. Well, listen, I want to remind you that this is not the only show on Collider Video today. A little bit later just yesterday, a brand new episode of Josh McCouga and his crew with TV Talk went up. A little bit later today, Jon Schnepp and Heroes goes up.
Right.
But I also want to make sure I put on your radar that tomorrow, Clark Wolf and her crew with a brand new episode of Nightmares. That goes online tomorrow. Make sure you tune in for that. And of course, a brand new episode of the movie trivia Schmodown goes up today, does it not?
Yeah, we get
goes up today. It's the Inner Geekdom, a 5-way Inner Geekdom
It's
match.
a fatal 5-way Inner Geekdom match. Look at that. I love that. Got to give that. Brian Ward did the art for that.
Yeah.
And you got Kalinowski, Fife, Feldman, Jandrew, and Ishii. Fatal 5-way. That's going down today at 3 p.m.
So make sure you keep your eyes open for that. And of course, every Friday, brand new episodes on the Verizon Go 90 network of Awesome-tacular with Jeremy Jahns. A brand new episode of that, of course, drops this Friday. And now, listen, in a few minutes, we're going to go to your live Twitter questions. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Collider Video. But first, let's go to the mailbag. Ashley, what's in the mailbag today?
Levi Roberts Brothers writes, "Hello, Collider team. My question is this. Why is the overall hype surrounding the new Blade Runner sequel so low? With Denis Villeneuve in the director's chair and Roger Deakins doing cinematography, we should be in for a masterpiece of a film, especially with Villeneuve's recent track record, Prisoner, Sicario, and Arrival. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Thanks."
Well, the movie's still 4 months away. I mean, so don't worry about. They've already put out, I think, 2 trailers for it have already come out, and we're still over 4 months away. Any real push you do in the hype right now is probably going to get lost in the jumble of big summer movie marketing for all the movies coming out now. And as far as Denis Villeneuve goes, like, he's a great director, but he's not a household name. So putting some big push behind that name isn't really going to accomplish anything yet. Like, give Denis Villeneuve, he knocks it out of the park with this movie too, but let's remember, none of those 3 exceptional movies that you've mentioned were exactly, did everybody see? Not a lot of people saw Prisoners. It's great, by the way. Mm-hmm. Not a ton of people saw Sicario. It's great, by the way. And as far as big name movies, I mean, really, when it's all said and done, Arrival, not a ton of people saw Arrival either. So it's not like you can bank his name, that people really know that name yet. Let's see what happens with the new Blade Runner, because then they might be really doing more of a push with his name at that point. But again, 4 months out, summer movie clout, and the name Denis Villeneuve is not really one you can push a marketing campaign to average film goers yet. What do you think?
And also the other thing is, too, as beloved as Blade Runner is, first of all, didn't do very well in the theater when it came out in '82. Second of all, it's not a widely loved movie for film community and in general, like the casual movie fan. It's not a big movie, and you're going to see a push for it. Like John's saying, August, September, I think around that time is when you'll see it. You got two big movie stars in Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford, obviously. Villeneuve is not a guy to where he doesn't have a name again with casual fans like a Tarantino does or even like a Nolan does. He doesn't have that name. He will and he should. He is one of my favorite directors working right now. As I told you, I think Arrival was one of the best movies of last year, and I think that visually, like, and I'm actually with John on the first Blade Runner. I don't love it as much as everybody else does. I thought it was, I have to go back and watch it again. But when they announced him, that's what made me want to see this even more. I want to see what that looks like. I want to see what a deconshot Blade Runner 2 looks like, and Villeneuve directing it. I mean, please and thank you. But the marketing push, it's going to get buried by summer movies if they did it now.
Schnepp.
Yeah, being a big Blade Runner fan. And also I feel like, I think every movie fan should go back into the archives and look at, there's countless films that were failures, like outright flops, like Apocalypse Now, like movies that are like revered and talked about, like everyone can't talk enough about them. No one went to see them when they came out. And in fact, most of the critics said they sucked. Go back in time, you have Google, find out, read these reviews because it's there. We don't know if this Blade Runner 2 is going to be good. I personally didn't want to see a Blade Runner sequel. I felt like, I thought that movie was good, one and done, and it's a fantastic, amazing science fiction film, one of the greatest science fiction films ever made, as far as I'm concerned. To see a sequel to it, I don't want it to hurt that. So who knows what's going to happen? But in the hands of a great cinematographer, a great director, I'm looking forward to it. So that's all I can really look forward to. Is I'm hoping it's a great film. I don't care really what it does in the box office. That's not my concern. I don't own part of Alcon. Otherwise, I'd be like, I certainly hope the shares are going up. But like, box office to me means nothing. I care about what the film is. So I'm certainly hoping that the film is amazing.
What do you think, Jeremy?
It's all right. So Blade Runner is going to be a sci-fi drama, but if you just look at it from the trailers and just look at the canvas of it, it's a sci-fi movie. And if you release the marketing now, it's going to get buried among the sci-fi movies of the summer and the bigger ones. So yeah, it's all about timing. You'll see the big push around August. The counterexample is It, but again, they've released one trailer for It. They've released a couple for Blade Runner, so Blade Runner is actually ahead of It at that point. But It does stand out as its own. The horror movie that stands above a lot of others stands out more than the sci-fi movie from 40 years ago. The sequel. So timing. It's all timing.
Jeremy, you bring up a good point. Like, I would even counter saying, like, I think maybe they put out too many trailers for Alien Covenant. Mm-hmm. Like, I think like 5 months ago when we first saw that very first trailer for Alien Covenant, we were like, oh my God, this is going to be great. And that first run, those first 3 posters, it was like fantastic. Everyone was excited about it. Then like 3 weeks before the movie came out, there's like 25 different things. Like, here's a prologue, here's 7 different featurettes. Here's like, and then you get I felt like, I don't want to see any more of this stuff. I can't wait to see the movie. So I sometimes wonder, like, I know Sony does that a lot with their Spider-Man films, and they just keep releasing too much footage. I'm like, look, we're going to see the movie. When does it come out? In July? It comes out like in a month. Like,
now you're talking Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm just switching over really quickly. Where like sometimes too much promotion can actually hurt the audience's anticipation.
Well, one other thing, like today. Think about this. When were we in New York when that trailer came out? When that first Blade Runner trailer came out?
Was that in December?
December or November or something like that,
December,
right?
yeah. Right.
Who even remembers that trailer now?
I know.
It's hard.
Really, and I remember saying this, like, why put this trailer out now? It's not going to help putting it out that far out. Nobody even remembers it now. So I don't know. It's something that I think they need to start thinking about. All right, guys, we've come close to the end of the show, which means we want to take your live Twitter questions right now. Wendy, what have you picked out?
This one comes from Jonathan Peck, who writes, with The Mummy coming out this week, what Tom Cruise character will win in a battle royale?
Tom Cruise character?
Ooh.
Is Live, Die, Repeat, because he could just keep going back, and then he'll just like perfect it until he kills you in one shot.
But doesn't he like? Spoiler alert for anybody who has not seen the original. All You Need Is Kill. But does he not stop his own power? Isn't his power done that?
I'm talking about powers in his prime.
If he had
his powers in his prime.
I thought it would be Jack Reacher.
That's where I would go. If he didn't have, if the powers weren't available, then yeah, or Risky Business because he can do that dance.
So I got you all beat. Lestat, son, when he was a vampire.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He can't be killed.
All right, I declare Schnepp the winner.
That's
You
actually pretty
you
good.
probably win. All right, what's next?
This one's from Aykroyd, who writes, "Are you surprised that Captain Underpants has an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes?"
No.
Well, surprised as somebody who has not seen the film and how it looked. Really surprised. So I still haven't seen it. I thought the marketing was. I didn't think the trailers looked fun or funny at all. So as somebody who did not see the film, totally shocked. As somebody who did see the
Christian's
film,
our resident
Well,
dad.
after seeing it, no, because like I said, I used the word and I'll use it again. It's a cute movie for kids. It's fun and adults will go because my wife's actually taken my daughter to see it and she's like, I don't know. I'm like, you're gonna wind up liking it. I'm telling you. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
anything you guys want to add?
Zero surprise. Not really interested in the character design. It was just like, yeah, the trailer was like, oh, I hope it's good for kids. So I'm glad to hear that.
No, I had to skip that one to do my Harry Potter reviews because I slipped behind, but I'm back on track.
All right, what's next?
Subatomic Freak writes, "Why don't more big studios copy the financial model of Blumhouse? It seems to be successful."
Well, I mean, yeah, Blumhouse has kind of cornered the market on like the small. And remember, Blumhouse is the size of company that making $10 million on a film is huge to them. If you're Paramount, making $10 million maybe covers your operating costs for a day. So like the bigger studios like Disney, like Warner Brothers, like Sony, like they need to have their eyes. I mean, look, they absolutely would rather make $10 million than lose $10 million for sure. But they have, when they're putting their pictures together, they just have a little bit of a bigger scope in mind because they're much larger companies. So that means the downside is sometimes they'll take a swing and they'll lose $50 million on a film. Blumhouse will never lose $50 million on a film because they'll never spend $50 million on a film. But that's one of the great things, and that's why I hope that we've had Jason Blum in our studios before to sit down and talk with us. He's amazing. He's such a level-headed guy, and I don't think he has aspirations to be a Paramount Pictures or Sony. I think he loves it. I get to be this small independent house making films that we like, and we happen to make money doing it. But that's why he can do it, and he's so good at it, and probably why the bigger studios can't.
Yeah, I mean, there's also there's certain mandates about blockbuster action films too. You want to put a little bit more into it than just like the 5 or 10 million in there. There are ways. Remember, that's also why they have subdivisions like a Sony's Classics and whether it's. I mean, Warner Brothers also does. They do their smaller films, but they have their divisions where they work on the smaller films. And I also we've talked about a billion times over. It's also why these streaming services, depending on what's going to happen now, we've talked about this to death with Scorsese and all these other movies too. Depending on what happens there, I think you'll start to see more studios lend their money. Or excuse me, more directors that get projects that way on the smaller budget scale. But as far as doing that, the Blumhouse model, it just doesn't work for everybody.
Right. I was going to say, remember, it's like, we like to say that, just to reiterate, this is a business. So most studios every year have a slate of films that they can afford to make based on the previous couple of years of the films that they made, and the successes and or failures of those films allows their slate to either expand or contract. When you have a bunch of films that are all being done under the $1 million mark, where you have we made 20 movies for $500,000, then you have to spend another $5 million just for marketing and advertising, so somebody it doesn't get buried at the bottom of Hulu, She Comes at Night or whatever, no one's ever heard of it. So you want those people to actually pay to see your film. That's how you do it, through marketing. So I mean, the savings and expenditure of making a cheap film ultimately ends up costing a lot more just to get that marketing machine going. So if Blumhouse was able to make 10 movies and then somebody else was like, well, we're going to spend the same amount of money, we might have a glut of these very low budget films. So maybe we'll have 100 movies and 10 of them are amazing. But I mean, I don't know. To me, it's sort of the slate that we have right now is more than enough.
All right, what's next?
All right, this comes from Kristian Harloff, who writes, "Ashley Mova, what did that first mailbag really say?"
Kristian actually stole my computer, and it actually said, the guy was asking a question. He said, "Do you like hot tea with cold ice cubes?" That's what the first one of my questions said.
Well,
so I
you should've asked
skipped
the guy-
over that sentence.
I think that was a good question by the guy, and he just totally
no,
ignored
you
his
made up
needs.
the question.
Are
You a fan of tea?
Well, I love tea. I think that you are just, you're neglecting what people really want to know about, and you should be ashamed
I
of
have a
Should you
feeling
put
that he
ice
didn't
cubes
write
in
that.
or not? That's a
Oh
valid
no,
question.
Schnepp, what do you think about it?
think putting ice cubes in it makes it delicious.
All right. Last question of the day.
All right, this one comes from Jordan, who writes, when did The Rock become movie Viagra? Was there a movie that was the turning point?
All right, he's not just movie Viagra. He's Viagra in general. That's all.
I think it would have been with. Well, look, he did it a couple of times. He did it with was it Journey to the Center of the Earth? Is that the name of the franchise?
Yep.
He did it with that. He obviously did it with Fast and the Furious.
Wasn't he in Escape from Witch Mountain?
Yeah, but that wasn't franchise. I mean, that was just
They
a
made
remake.
two of them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, he was with Fast and Furious.
Yep.
And then he joined. What was the other franchise?
He was in the better of the two G.I. Joe movies. It was
Yes,
like a
yes,
series
yes,
of
yes,
events.
yes,
It was a
yes.
series of events
Yeah.
that kind of stacked, and then all of a
Right.
sudden you have this self-sustaining ball of energy known as Dwayne Johnson. Now he's a superstar.
Yeah.
But even Dwayne Johnson can make missteps. Baywatch.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I will still go and blame that more on the directing and the writing than anything else too, because I think his,
sure. Yeah,
he
I think
committed.
his comedic. He did produce it too, but his comedic timing is great. It has really improved from even when he debuted on Saturday Night Live, like the first time. I think it was like 2001 or something.
He's such a magnetic person.
What does Dan Aykroyd really think about The Rock? That's what I want to know. It's really on my mind.
Well, if they
The
would have
Rock
used
would
a
have been a
big
much bigger
show,
star if he had listened to what I told him 5 years ago. I still remember my
the
favorite
world should
Rock.
have used Doink the Clown.
My favorite Rock bit on Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you guys saw this or remember this, but there was you know how Saturday Night Live every episode they do like a fake commercial, and there's this one fake commercial starts with this married couple, and the guy's like, "I was smoking for 20 years," and the wife is like, "Yeah, and we were trying desperately to find ways to stop, but nothing worked." He goes, "That's when I discovered Nicotrel, and Nicotrel helped me stop smoking." And then The Rock comes walking into frame with this tight muscle shirt that just says Nicotrel. I'm Nicotrell. Because whenever he smokes, I beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
So then it just shows.
Scream at him and say, "Stop smoking!"
He starts screaming, and it just shows a guy like in his living room pulling out a cigarette, and The Rock comes and starts beating
Yeah.
the crap out of him.
That's hilarious.
It was fantastic. Anyway, that'll do it for us, guys, for this episode of Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank the people sitting at the table with me. First of all, right over here, Mr. Jon Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, just at Jon Schnepp. Slayer #3 comes out worldwide. Comic shops tomorrow. Go buy it. Check out my weird book, Isolated Mutations of the Assembly Line Baby, on Kickstarter. See you later.
Right beside me, Jeremy Johns.
You can find me at Jeremy Jahns on YouTube, Twitter, rest of the internet. You can find me show Awesome Tackler on Go90, where I talk comic books and comic book movies with Jon Schnepp. I talk Star Wars with Kristian Harloff. Be fun nerds, like all of us.
Oh, one other thing, you're also on Nightmares tomorrow, are you
That's
not?
right, yeah. I mean, Heroes today, Nightmares tomorrow. It's a full slate of fun nerd stuff, man.
Right beside me, we got Kristian Harloff.
I'll be drinking hot tea with ice cubes at Kristian Harloff on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure, like John said, the Inner Geekdom match was up today, the singles match on Friday, but on July 7th, we have the Collider Collision 5 matches. Jeremy John's going for the Inner Geekdom Championship. Triple threat between Dan Merle, John Roca, and Mark Riley. We're only about a month away. It's coming.
Sitting over there, the sort of engaged Ashley Mova.
You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Ashley Mova. Happy Tuesday, guys.
And beside her, Wendy Lee.
The Movie Couple channel on YouTube, and at Wendy Lee Zaney at Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat.
You guys can simply find me on Facebook, Twitter, and all over the place just at John Campea. That'll do for us, guys. Special thanks to you guys at home for watching us and all the guys behind the camera. And until next time, bye-bye.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.